Hello, I'm Shekov. There are some stories in history that sound too incredible to be true. Stories that make you wonder, was it luck, fate, or something beyond explanation? Tonight, we dive into the life of a John Priest, a British stoker whose career at sea read more like a legend than reality. He was a man who faced disaster after disaster. Ships colliding, ships torpedoed, ships striking icebergs and mines, and had he survived them all. This is the story of the unsinkable stoker, the extraordinary life of John Prest, the unsinkable stoker. This story begins in the early 90s. John Priest was born in Southampton, London, a city where ships were life itself. Like many working men, he found work as a stoker, a grueling job deep in the bowels of steamships, shoveling coals into the furnace. His first known assignment was aboard the Austria's brand new liner. The assignment was high. First voyage, new ship, a promising carrier, but almost immediately things went wrong. The Austria's maiden voyage ended in collision. For most men, it would have been a bad man, but for Priest, it was just the beginning. He survived unharmed, but perhaps with a glimpse of the dangerous life ahead. In 1911, Priest squad work on the HRMS Olympic, one of the grandest ships ever built at that time, the sister ship of the Titanic. She was hailed as unsinkable, a marvel of engineering. But during one of her voyages, the Olympic collided with a Royal Navy cruiser, the HMS Hawk. The impact ripped open the side of the ship. Panic spread, but the Olympic managed to limp back to the port. And John Priest is survived again. Another brush with disaster and another escape. The following year, 1912, would change Priest's life forever. He signed on as a stoker aboard the Titanic, the ship of dreams. On the night of April 14th, Titanic struck an iceberg. For the stokers working deep below decks, the cause was unimaginable. Boilers hissing, water flooding in, crew shouting harder in the darkness. Priest fought his way to the lifeboats, suffering severe frostbite from the icy Atlantic. More than 1,500 people perished that night. But once again, Priest laughed. When World War One broke out, the seas became even more dangerous. Merchant ships were prime targets for German radars and submarines. Priests joined the armed merchant cruiser Alcantara in 1916. She engaged the German radar Griff. Both ships were badly damaged. The Alcantara sank. The Grief sank. Hundreds died. But John Priest, he survived again. Later, Priest was assigned to another great liner, the HMHS Britannic, sister ship to both the Olympic and Titanic. By now, it had been converted into a hospital ship, carrying the wounded from the front lines. In November 1916, Britannic struck a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She sank faster than the Titanic, just 55 minutes. Yet once more, John Priest escaped with his life. The next ship was the hospital vessel Donegal. In 1917, she was torpedoed by a German submarine. Priest survived, but this time something changed. He had endured frostbite, collision, torpedoes, explosion, and the icy seas. But now, shaken to the core, it decided enough was enough. He was never hired as a stoker again. See who was John Priest, a man cursed with a bad luck or blessed with extraordinary fortune. Over the span of just a few years, he survived six maritime disasters: the Australias, the Olympic, the Titanic, the Alcantara, the Britannic, and the Donegal. Priest lived out the rest of his life quietly in Southampton, passing away in 1937 at, at the age of 49. But his legend lives on, tucked into the strange corners of history, where the line between coincidence and destiny blurs. Some called him unlucky because every ship he worked on seemed doomed. Others called him lucky because he always survived. Perhaps the truth is somewhere in the between. But one thing is certain: John Priest was more than just a stoker, he was unsinkable.